Now, the first thing William did was, in fact, when he was asked to take on the administration of the country, was to sack a lot of prominent English civil servants and military people and replace them with Dutchmen. Now, the politicians thought this was a little bit off, so they went and had a chat with the aldermen of the City of London and 50 of the Common Council. William heard about this, and he instructed that they should send a writ to every borough in the country, and that they should in fact ask the people of England to send a representative to Westminster to tell the sovereign-to-be and Parliament how the English wish to be ruled. Now, isn't that a wonderful idea? More of it, please, if you wouldn't mind, Parliament. Now, basically, the people arrived and they drew up a document known as the Declaration of Rights of 1689. And the Declaration of Rights is an extremely important document. It was given to Parliament and to William and Mary by the representatives of the people of England. It was not the politicians who had been suspended from Parliament who made it. It was other people who had come. Some had served in a previous Charles's government, but some had not served in any government. But they arrived, they sat down, and they discussed the way they wished to be ruled, and they came up with a Declaration of Rights. Now, the Declaration of Rights is quite sensible. It says, for example, that you cannot be imprisoned unless you have been found guilty of a criminal offence in a court of law. It says that you cannot be fined or suffer any forfeiture unless you have been found guilty in a court of law. And these documents were in fact shown to William and Mary, and they were asked, when they saw them, to accept them, because it was conditional on them accepting them that they would be offered the crown, not by Parliament, but by the representatives of the people of England. Now, William and Mary accepted the terms of the Declaration of Rights, and William then said, having been made king, been offered the crown by the people and accepted it, he then said, well, I'm going to call a Parliament, but I don't need to have an election for Parliament because I already have the representatives of the people here. And so he made those people his Parliament. And one of the first things that they did was they passed the Declaration of Rights into law as the Bill of Rights. Now, the Declaration and the Bill of Rights contain two codicils. One is that any amendments to this bill have to be put forward before the 23rd of October 1869 or 1689, or they are void and not lawful. And this bill is for all time. Now, this is said in the Declaration of Rights, which was given to the politicians and the prospective sovereign by the representatives of the people of England. And the will of the people of England under our Constitution is supreme over the sovereign and over Parliament. So Parliament cannot touch it. The sovereign cannot touch it. It is here on our statute books, if you like. It's part of our constitutional law, and it cannot be removed or amended ever, because the people of England said that they would not allow it to be amended or repealed ever. Now, times have gone on. People have done various things, and when Blackstone wrote his commentaries on the law of England in 1765, he was writing laws and commenting on them which were exactly the same laws as had appeared in the book of law called the Dome, written by Alfred the Great hundreds of years before. These were good laws, and they had survived the test of time. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. So basically, those were our laws. We were still basically operating on Alfred's laws until such time as Ted Heath took us into the common market. And since then, there have been attempts to destroy our constitution, to actually impose law on this country which is forbidden to be imposed on this country. it being a major tenet of our constitutional law, that Parliament may do many things, but what they may not do is surrender any of their rights to govern to a foreign power unless we have been defeated in war. The last time we lost a war was 1066, and even then Duke William had a spurious claim to the throne. So do we count that as a war or don't we? The other thing, of course, is that one of the other things that Henry de Bracton ruled was that the laws of England, having been approved by the people who used them and confirmed by the oaths of kings, cannot be changed or disposed of without the common consent of those by whose will they were promulgated. That was your ancestors and mine, and because they are long dead and we have inherited this country from them, that means you and me. Parliament can't change or dispose of the laws that we in fact have been brought up to believe are the way this country is ruled, unless we agreed to it. I haven't. Maybe you have. I certainly haven't. The other thing is that we have here is we have an oath. It's an Elizabethan oath. It goes back to the time at least of Queen Elizabeth I, and maybe further back than that. And a section of that oath was put in the Declaration and the Bill of Rights. And that oath says, no foreign prince, person, prelate, state or potentate hath or ought to have any jurisdiction, superiority, preeminence, power or authority, ecclesiastical or spiritual, within this land. Now, that absolutely forbids our membership of the European Union, because if it is more than the purely trading arrangement that we were told about, and if it does have implications for the future of the constitution of this country, then in point of fact, it cannot be done. It is illegal. Ted Heath was told in 1971 by the Foreign and Commonwealth Office that if we join the common market, or as it then was, the European Economic Community, that we would in fact within 3 decades have lost our ancient constitution and cease to be an independent sovereign state and would merely be a region of Europe. And that is what the Foreign Office were recommending, that we dump our constitution, that we dump our sovereignty, and that we do this with the specific intention of obtaining power within Europe for the politicians and the civil servants. Now, this is going on and on and on, and we see every day that we are being hit with more and more and more treaties, and each of these treaties is destroying our ancient constitution. Each of these treaties is destroying something which cannot be destroyed, because Parliament are only allowed to legislate in line with our constitution. They cannot ignore our constitution. They cannot legally change our constitution, because everything that they do has to be done in conformity with strict guidelines laid down by our ancestors hundreds of years ago. They laid them down because they had sovereigns who were getting out of their prams and doing things that they shouldn't be doing. They learnt by experience that you have to fight this, and you have to stop it. So basically, that is what we have to do now. We have to fight this, we have to stop it, and we have to stop it and use whatever means we can to stop it. Personally, I believe that we use the laws of this country to protect this country, and I think that if we do that, there is no doubt whatsoever that we will in fact get our country back and once again be able to develop it the way we want it developed, and to live the lives that we want to live without in fact foreign interference.